Look, if you think your Chihuahua is just some trembling little accessory with zero going on upstairs, you're getting played. They are incredibly sharp. I mean, they've spent centuries basically bred to live in our laps, so they know human behavior better than we do. They read your moods, they clock the micro expressions, and they absolutely know how to work you. This isn't golden retriever intelligence where they just want to blindly fetch a duck for you. It's street smarts. It's survival by manipulation. Which is honestly a huge problem if you don't know what you're doing. A Chihuahua will spot the exact moment you get lazy with a rule and exploit it immediately. I had a client last month whose Chi would go to the back door, perform this entire Oscar-winning shivering routine, and the owner would go, "Oh, poor baby," and lay down a pee pad in the kitchen. Boom, the dog trained the human. You have to be firm with them, but you can't be harsh. Positive reinforcement is the only way through. You yell at a dog that's sensitive, you just shatter the trust. And a Chihuahua who doesn't trust you is going to be an absolute nightmare to train. I get it. You're finding puddles behind the sofa and you're exhausted, but they aren't doing it to spite you. 9 times out of 10, when a Chihuahua pees inside, somebody missed a signal or ignored basic biology. First off, their bladders are the size of a walnut. The old internet rule says puppies can hold it 1 hour for every month of age. Throw that out for this breed. They process food and water insanely fast. Expecting them to hold it that long is just setting everyone up for failure. Let's look at the actual math. 8 to 10 weeks old, you've got an hour, maybe 2 tops. 11 to 12 weeks, you're looking at 2 to 3 hours. 3 to 5 months gets you about 3 or 4 hours. And honestly, once they hit 6 months and beyond, 4 to 6 hours is pretty much the absolute limit for most of them. Sometimes they just don't know the rule yet. Dogs learn in context. You taught them not to pee on the living room rug? Great. But the guest bedroom they visit once a month, that's a completely different zip code to them. Plus, they sit so low to the ground, the stealth squat. You turn your back for 45 seconds and they've already gone and walked away. Now, if your dog was fully trained and suddenly starts soaking the floor, or you have a pup who literally can't stop going, call your vet. UTIs, bladder stones, kidney stuff, those cause intense pain and urgency that the dog physically cannot control. You can't train away a medical problem. Get it checked before you blame the dog. The second those tiny paws hit your floor on day 1, you are on the clock. The ideal time to lock this down is between 8 and 12 weeks. Their brains are basically sponges right then. You build the routine early, it sticks. If you decide to take it easy for the first 3 weeks because they're adjusting and just so cute, you are actively teaching them that the dining room corner is a toilet. It is deeply hard to undo that. Actually, let me clarify something. Don't start expecting miracles at 6 weeks. Anything under 8 weeks, they literally lack the physical wiring to know they have to pee until they are actively peeing. They're toddlers. But from 8 weeks on, you need structure. I am a massive fan of the bell, because right now, your dog's signal that they need out is probably just pacing or staring, which you won't see because they're ankle high. A bell gives them a voice that cuts through the house. It's simple. You get some bells, you get high-value treats. I usually use tiny bits of boiled chicken or low-fat cheese, none of that dry biscuit garbage. Pick a bell that's loud enough for you to hear from the kitchen, but gentle enough it doesn't terrify the dog. Standard sleigh bells on the doorknob work. A lot of my clients with tiny dogs are using those wireless smart bells now. The dog just taps a little button on the floor and it chimes a receiver plugged into the wall. Works great for little paws. You build this in pieces. First, you ring the bell every single time you open that door to take them out. You're building the association. Though means outside. Then you get them to nudge it. Hold a treat behind the bell, let their nose hit it, reward. Move it to the door. They ring it, the door opens. The final piece is the hardest. All of it comes together. They ring the bell, the door opens, they go outside, and they only get the chicken if they actually pee. Put the bell by the door you actually use. If it's a floor button, put it where they can actually reach it without stretching. Consistency is everything here. Say potty or whatever your word is. Ring the bell, open the door. Every time. Everyone in the house has to do it. If the kids are doing something different, the dog's just gonna get confused. And yeah, they're smart. They will absolutely try to game the system. They'll start ringing the bell just because they want to go sunbathe on the patio. When that happens, leash them. Take them out to their potty spot for exactly 2 minutes. If they don't pee, march them straight back inside. Zero fun, no sniffing. They'll figure out real quick that the bell is a toilet lever, not a party button. Right when you want to throw a party because it's been a solid month with 0 accidents, you step in a puddle. Welcome to regression. It happens to almost every single dog. It's not them being stubborn. With Chihuahuas, it's usually a few specific things. Adolescence hits between 6 and 12 months. Hormones change. They test boundaries. They just forget the rules for a minute. Or you changed something. Moved a sofa, had a baby, loud construction next door, started a new shift at work. Stress causes mistakes. Weather is a huge one with this breed. Chihuahuas despise being cold or wet. I've had dogs perfectly trained all summer who suddenly decide in November that the hallway is a better option than freezing their paws off on the frost. Or, and this is usually the one, you got lazy. You thought they were trained, so you stopped giving the chicken. You let them wander the house unsupervised. You stretched the bathroom breaks too far. You took away the structure. Oh, and if you didn't clean the old accidents with a real enzymatic cleaner, they can still smell it. It just smells like a bathroom to them. Again, rule out the vet stuff first. UTIs spike hard in small breeds. If it's purely behavioral, you just go back to kindergarten. Tether them to you, leash them for outside trips, throw a massive party with high-pitched praise and premium treats when they go on the grass, just like you did when they were 8 weeks old. Never yell when they mess up inside. You yell, they just learn to hide behind the curtains next time they need to go. Clean the spots with enzymes. It sucks, I know. You're exhausted. But regression usually only lasts a few days or a couple of weeks if you stay on top of it. Rebuild the structure. If you hold the line, they'll bounce back. Stop using bleach. Just put it down. Actually, put down the vinegar and the ammonia too. Every week, I get a client who is scrubbing their floors raw with household cleaners, completely exhausted, wondering why their Chihuahua keeps peeing in the exact same corner of the dining room. The dog is doing it because you're literally leaving a welcome mat out for them. When your puppy pees, they leave behind these incredibly strong pheromones and uric acid crystals. And if you clean that up with an ammonia-based cleaner, you're basically replicating the chemical smell of urine. To a dog's nose, ammonia means this is the bathroom, so they go again and again. You need an enzymatic cleaner, non-negotiable. It's a liquid packed with biological enzymes that literally digest the urine proteins at a molecular level. It destroys the scent completely. Just because you can't smell the accident anymore doesn't mean your dog can't. They absolutely can. But you have to use it right. First, blot the puddle. Don't scrub. Scrubbing just drives the urine deeper into the carpet pad. Get a thick stack of paper towels and step on it to soak up the liquid. Then saturate the area with the enzymes, and I mean saturate. Soak it down to the floorboards if you have to. Then walk away. Let it air dry. People rush this part all the time. If you wipe it up before it dries naturally, the enzymes stop working, the smell stays, and your dog will be right back there tomorrow morning. People hear American Kennel Club and they instantly picture fluffy show dogs trotting in circles. But the AKC has these two programs, STAR Puppy and Canine Good Citizen, that are honestly lifesavers for average owners, especially Chihuahua owners. The STAR Puppy program is your foundation. The acronym stands for Socialization, Training, Activity, and Responsibility. It's a 6-week course with an approved evaluator, and it covers 20 basic skills. Stuff like letting someone pet them or just tolerating a collar without a meltdown. The beauty of it is that it's low stress. It's not one big high-pressure test. The evaluator just watches you over the 6 weeks and looks for steady improvement, which is perfect for a sensitive little dog. Then there's the Canine Good Citizen Test, the CGC. This is the gold standard for a dog that actually knows how to exist politely in the world. It's 10 skills: accepting a friendly stranger, walking through a crowd without panicking, ignoring another dog. For a Chihuahua, passing the CGC is a massive deal. Let's be real, these dogs get stereotyped hard as yappy little ankle biters. Having a CGC title attached to your dog's name proves they aren't. Plus, it actually helps in the real world. I've had clients use that official title to get around strict breed rules for apartment rentals, or even lower their homeowner's insurance. It proves you put the work in. Your dog does not care about the dry piece of kibble you're offering them. I'm sorry, they just don't. If you want your Chihuahua to understand exactly where the bathroom is, you have to pay them out, heavily. The instant, and I mean the literal second, they finish going potty outside, you need to throw a party. Big, happy voice, "Yes, good potty," and then immediately hand over a high-value treat. Timing is the whole ballgame here. If you wait until you walk back inside the house to give them the treat, you didn't reward them for going potty. You just rewarded them for walking through your back door. Dogs live completely in the present tense. You have about a 1 to 2 second window to make that neurological connection. Going in the grass equals cheese and a party. And the treat has to be something they obsess over. Chihuahuas are notoriously picky. A stale biscuit isn't going to convince a tiny dog to hold their bladder and walk out onto cold, wet grass. Kibble and dry training treats? Useless for this. Store-bought chewy treats? Fine for teaching a basic sit, but not enough for major potty milestones. You need the jackpot stuff. Tiny bits of boiled chicken, freeze-dried beef liver, plain string cheese. That creates an instant, massive memory. Just keep the pieces tiny, like pea-sized or smaller. Their stomachs are tiny, and if you feed them massive chunks of cheese, you're going to be dealing with a whole different kind of cleanup inside. Okay, potty pads, wee-wee pads, whatever you call them. Look, I usually hate these things, but Chihuahuas are a genuinely unique case. They're tiny, they have practically zero body fat, they despise the cold, so I get why people consider them. But you need to know exactly what you're signing up for. The fundamental flaw with a pad is that you are actively teaching your puppy that it is acceptable to pee inside your house. That is a deeply confusing message if your ultimate goal is an outdoor dog. Plus, puppies get bored. Half the time, a playful Chihuahua will just shred the pad into a pile of fluff anyway, which is a choking hazard. The biggest issue, though, is what we call surface preference. Your puppy gets used to the soft, fabric-like feel of the pad under their paws. So when they have to go, they look for that texture, which means they find your expensive rug, or your bath mat, or a blanket left on the floor. Making the switch to outdoor grass later becomes a massive headache. Now, are there exceptions? Sure. If you live on the 30th floor of an apartment building without quick elevator access, pads make sense. If you have personal mobility limitations, if your puppy isn't fully vaccinated and you live in a highly trafficked area, or if it's literally freezing out. because forcing a Chihuahua into sub-zero weather or heavy rain is genuinely unsafe. In those cases, pads are a practical bridge. If you have to use an indoor option, look into the real grass indoor patches instead of fabric pads. It stops that surface preference from developing. But honestly, if your long-term plan is for them to go outside, just start outside. Channel all your energy there from day one. Consistency is what actually gets the job done. Your Chihuahua is not peeing on your shoes out of spite. They aren't seeking revenge because you left them alone. I see owners completely lose their minds over this, and it breaks my heart because the dog literally cannot help it. We're talking about submissive and excitement urination. It is a completely involuntary physical reaction to an overwhelming emotion. Their nervous system basically short circuits and their bladder lets go. Submissive urination is an ancient canine appeasement signal. The dog is overwhelmed. You'll see the ears pin back, the tail tucked tight between the legs. They'll avoid eye contact, maybe even roll over to show their belly. It happens when they feel intimidated. And you looming over them and yelling about a puddle on the floor, that just terrifies them more, which guarantees it'll happen again. Excitement urination is the flip side. A young dog gets so overwhelmingly thrilled that you're home that their developing nervous system just gives out. Wiggle, wiggle, puddle. The sheer force of their joy overpowers their bladder control. The absolute cardinal rule here is you never, ever punish them for this. You have to manage the greetings. When you walk in the door, ignore your dog. I know it's hard, but do not look at them, do not talk to them. Give them 2 to 3 minutes to settle down. Don't make direct eye contact. When you do pet them, crouch down sideways to their level. Don't lean over them. Scratch them gently under the chin or the chest, never over the top of the head. Better yet, just silently walk them straight outside the second you get home, so the leak happens in the grass where it doesn't matter. If they do pee inside, clean it up silently with an enzymatic cleaner and don't react at all. Most dogs naturally grow out of this as their muscles mature and they build confidence. Your job is to stay calm, manage the environment, and give them every chance to succeed. If it keeps happening well into adulthood, check with a vet to rule out medical issues or call a trainer. You can't treat a Chihuahua like a golden retriever. Most breeds have a job. Retrievers retrieve. Collies herd. Chihuahuas, they descend from the Tequichi, an ancient dog kept by the Toltec and Aztec civilizations. Their entire genetic job description, for hundreds of years, has been pure companionship. They were bred to be constantly close to a human. That heritage dictates everything about how they act right now in your living room. It's why they shadow you from room to room. It's why they're fiercely loyal and incredibly alert to every little sound. The soul of a vigilant companion dog is packed into that tiny body. Recognizing that is the only way to actually understand their behavior. And this is exactly why you can't just crack the back door open and expect your Chihuahua to trot out into the cold yard alone to pee. They're hardwired to be with you. If you don't go out there, they won't go out there. You have to go outside with them and provide that security. You have to work with that intense attachment, not against it. But you also have to actively build their independence. Because they're bred to be so close to us, they are highly prone to separation anxiety. You have to patiently teach them that being alone is safe. Give them a lick mat, a snuffle mat, or a puzzle toy so they learn how to be confident by themselves. Get them out into the world. Safely, positively socialize them with people and other dogs so they don't become reactive. Keep their very active brains busy. Do daily food puzzles. Teach them tricks. Try canine nose work or rally obedience. When you actually channel that sharp intelligence, instead of just treating them like a lap ornament, they are the most phenomenal little partners you could ask for. You catch them mid-squat on your expensive rug. Your brain screams at you to yell, to freak out. Don't. How you react right in that split second, it basically dictates the next 3 months of your life. Chihuahuas read the room better than most humans. If you explode, you don't teach them not to pee inside. You just teach them you're a maniac who loses it when they pee. So if you happen to catch them, make a sound like just enough to startle the bladder shut. Then scoop them up, and listen to me on this because everyone messes it up. Scoop from right behind the front legs. Support the chest. If you grab their belly, you literally squeeze the rest of the pee out of them like a sponge. I've seen it happen 100 times. Look, they aren't plotting against you. They aren't vindictive. They're babies who don't understand our weird indoor rules, or their bladder is the size of a walnut and they physically couldn't hold it another 12 seconds. Never, ever shove their nose in it. If you scare them, they just get sneaky. They develop what I call the phantom potty. They start going behind the couch, under the guest bed, and suddenly house training is exponentially harder. Every miss is just data. It's a failed test. Ask yourself what you missed. Did they just wake up? Did you let them play too hard after dinner? Fix the schedule. Get a real enzymatic cleaner, not the grocery store stuff, and try again. You're the one with the big brain. Act like it. The AKC and all those generic dog manuals will tell you the month-to-hour rule. 2 months old, 2 hours. 4 months, 4 hours. Throw that math out the window. You have a Chihuahua. Their metabolism is running at warp speed, and their bladder capacity is a joke. Treat those standard estimates as absolute upper limits, not comfortable targets. For an 8-week-old pup, you've got maybe an hour and a half tops. 3 months old? Call it 2 hours. By 4 months, you might get 2.5, maybe 3 hours. Once they hit 6 months, you're maxing out at 4 or 5 hours during the daytime. And once they hit about 9 months, the whole formula falls apart anyway. And those are just rough guesses. Erring on the side of taking them out more often is always the smart play. You play a game of tug for 10 minutes, that resets the clock. Their system revs up, they need to go right then. Sleeping slows everything down, sure, so they can hold it longer overnight, especially if you pull the water bowl about an hour or 2 before bed. But during the day, feed them on a strict schedule, no free feeding. Most dogs are going to need to poop somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes after they swallow their breakfast. Watch them. If they suddenly stop playing, wander off, start sniffing the baseboards, the clock is at 0. Oh, and if your totally reliable dog suddenly starts peeing in tiny drops or straining or licking themselves constantly, go to the vet today. It's almost always a UTI. The goal isn't to stretch them to their breaking point to see what they can endure. Pushing a puppy to hold it is unhealthy, honestly. It causes bladder infections. Take them out before they're desperate. Set them up to win. Dogs don't read clocks, but their guts do, especially small dogs. They crave predictability. If their days are a random mess of naps and meals, their bathroom habits are going to be a random mess on your floor. You need a routine. Napping, eating, drinking, training, all of it happens at set times every single day. It helps their fast little digestive systems settle into a rhythm, and I mean the same time. If you leave a bowl of kibble on the floor all day, well, good luck. You can't predict the output if you aren't controlling the input. Feed them twice, 3 times a day, whatever the vet said, but consistency is what actually matters. There are 5 times you take this dog out. No debate. First, the exact second they wake up. Do not hit snooze. Do not pause to make coffee. Feet on the floor, dog out the door. Second, shortly after every meal. Third, after you play or do any training. Their brains get working, they move around, the bladder gets squeezed. Out they go. Fourth, right before you crate them or leave the house. And fifth, the very last thing you do before your head hits the pillow at night. Honestly, for the first few weeks, write it down. Keep a log on the fridge. It sounds obsessive, but you'll start seeing the pattern. Oh, he always pees exactly 18 minutes after his afternoon nap. That's gold. That's how you beat them to the punch. But you have to be relentless. If your partner lets the dog wander the hallway unsupervised after dinner just once, you're back to square one. Consistency means everyone.
I've done this a long time. People pay me to fix the same 10 mistakes. Let's just skip the part where you make them. 1. Punishing accidents. Yelling just makes you the scary guy who hates pee.
They'll just hide it from you. Clean it and move on. 2. A sloppy schedule. We just talked about this. Random meals mean a confused dog. 3. Too much freedom too soon. If you aren't staring right at them, they should be gated off. Every unsupervised accident just reinforces the habit. 4. Improper cleaning. If you don't use a real enzymatic cleaner, your dog can still smell the pee. To a Chihuahua, a faint pee smell is basically a neon sign flashing approved bathroom. 5. Potty pads. I hate them. You're literally teaching your dog it's okay to pee on a soft, square thing inside the house. You know what else is a soft, square thing? Your bath mat, a pile of laundry. It sends a terrible mixed message. 6. Weak rewards. A quiet little pat on the head doesn't pay the rent. Pay up. High-value treats, genuine excitement, the exact instant they go.
7. Confusing potty and playtime. They get distracted by a leaf, forget why they're out there, and then pee the second they get back inside and relax. Business first, play later. 8. Missing their signals. They almost always tell you. Sniffing, spinning. If you miss it, that's on you.
9. Using the crate incorrectly. It's not a jail, and if you leave them in there so long they're forced to soil their bed, you destroy the instinct that makes crate training actually work. 10. Mishandling regressions. 6 months in, they might suddenly have a bad week. It's normal canine development. Just go back to the puppy rules for a few days. They aren't doing it to spite you. These guys are tiny. Their heads are already 3 inches off the floor, so when they start sending signals, you have to actually pay attention. They telegraph exactly what they're going to do, but you have to know what to look for. Intense sniffing is usually the first alarm. A puppy that's happily playing and suddenly drops their toy to vacuum the floor with their nose, that's a red alert. Grab them. Then there's the circling. They walk in these tight, repetitive little circles. It's an old wild dog instinct, flattening the tall grass, checking for predators. In your living room, it means a poop is imminent. Watch for restlessness, too. If they suddenly can't settle down or they keep trotting past the back door, they're uncomfortable, the pressure's building. Or the opposite, they sneak off. If your Chihuahua quietly vanishes from the room, behind the sofa, under a table, an accident is literally happening right now. Some of them are smart enough to tell you. They'll come over, lock eyes, glance at the door, maybe let out this very specific, anxious little whine. It sounds different than a play bark. Sometimes they'll even smack your leg with a paw. That's them asking for help. And if you see them squat, or the little boys start doing that awkward leg lift, the arched back for a poop, you have literally a second to interrupt. You'll learn your dog's specific tells, but in the beginning, assume every sudden change in behavior means they need grass. Let me save you a lot of internet arguments. The only way you train a dog, especially a breed this small, this emotionally sensitive, is by paying them for getting it right. Positive reinforcement. Even the big guns, the American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior, the AKC, the Humane Society, they all say the same thing. Harsh techniques cause actual psychological harm. Think of it as their paycheck. If your boss stopped paying you, you'd stop showing up. You want your Chihuahua to go outside to pee, you have to pay them. And kibble won't cut it. You need the good stuff. Tiny pieces of boiled chicken, hot dogs, cheese, things they find totally irresistible. And here's the rule. They only get those specific treats for going potty outside, never for a trick. When they finish going, you have about 3 seconds to get that meat into their mouth and throw a little party. High-pitched voice, lots of praise. Make them eager to go out there. Don't bully these dogs, swatting them, screaming. It's cruel, frankly, and it ruins the trust. There was a PLAWS 1 study back in 2020 that proved this. Dogs trained with aversive methods had significantly higher levels of cortisol, stress hormones. They showed way more stress behaviors. Chihuahuas are deeply sensitive. If you come at them hard as a disciplinarian, they don't learn. They just shut down emotionally, or they get defensive and snappy. You want a collaborator, not a prisoner. Build the trust, pay them well, and I promise you, they'll figure it out.
Teaching a dog to sit takes maybe 10 minutes. Teaching a Chihuahua where to pee takes months of fighting against millions of years of canine biology. Look, their bladder is literally the size of a walnut. When a puppy feels the urge, they just go. There is zero concept of your expensive rug. They pee, the rug is soft, and suddenly that texture is it's their new bathroom. Which is why you have to be the one who changes. You have to watch them constantly. Every nap, every meal, every random burst of zoomies, outside. It's exhausting. It means going out in the freezing cold at 3:15 in the morning. It means scrubbing spots with enzyme cleaner so they don't smell their own pee and think they've found the toilet. You are actively negotiating with a tiny animal's nervous system. Once you realize you're fighting biology, not a stubborn dog, you stop taking it personally, and then you can actually fix it. The second you bring that puppy home, before you even walk through the front door, put them in the exact spot you want them to use forever. Chihuahuas process food like hummingbirds. They have these lightning-fast metabolisms, so when they have to go right that second. You need one designated spot, not the whole yard, one spot. The scent builds up there, and it actually triggers their instinct to pee. Pick a spot close to the door. If you have to walk 42 feet across the yard, they're going to pee on your shoe halfway there. And think about the weather. If it snows, you are shoveling a path to that exact spot. A Chihuahua will literally hold it until they explode before they wade through a snowdrift. Grass is best. Mulch is fine. Pea gravel works great for drainage. Just make sure your dog will actually walk on it. Some of them hate the feeling on their paw pads. Balcony? Get high-quality artificial turf. Make sure it's sheltered, too. They have zero body fat. If the wind is whipping or it's pouring rain, they are not thinking about emptying their bladder. They're thinking about getting back inside. Pick a quiet spot, away from the street. Carry them there if you have to. Praise them. Never change it. Go potty right as they start peeing. Not when they're sniffing, not when they're wandering around looking at bugs. The exact second they start going, say the word, calmly. And the moment they finish, act like they just cured a disease. Give them a tiny piece of chicken, throw a party. Pick one phrase, do business, hurry up, whatever. I don't care what the word is, just make sure every single person in your house uses the exact same one. If you say go potty and your husband says do business, your dog is just They're just guessing. Some of you live on the 14th floor, or you work 12-hour shifts. If you have to use pads, fine, but do it right. Chihuahuas are small, sure, but if you buy cheap, flimsy pads, the pee just runs right off onto your hardwood, and they'll probably shred it for fun anyway. Put the pad in a quiet corner, nowhere near their food bowl. Dogs don't want to eliminate where they eat. Get a plastic tray that holds the edges down so they don't drag it across the living room. You've got options here. Heavy-duty disposables are easy, you just toss them, but they cost a fortune over time, and yeah, some dogs just want to chew them up. Washable pads are great. I actually prefer them. They're basically chew-proof because it's fabric. You do have to wash them constantly with enzyme detergent so your house doesn't smell. Then there's the real grass patches, the subscription boxes. Honestly, if you're eventually moving them outside, this is the smartest move because it feels like actual grass. They cost more and you have to swap them out, but it builds the right habit. Figure out what works for your life and stick to it. Small dog syndrome is entirely man-made. It's what happens when you don't show a Chihuahua the world before they decide everything in it is trying to kill them. You have to socialize them. And that doesn't mean dropping an 8-week-old puppy into a chaotic dog park. Please do not do that. It means controlled, short, happy interactions with new people, new sounds, vacuums, sirens, weird hats. Give them a treat every time they see something new. Chihuahuas are tiny. The world is terrifyingly huge to them. If you don't teach them what's safe, their default reaction is just going to be screaming at it. Watch their body language. If they're shaking or licking their lips a lot or hiding behind your ankles, they're done. Get them out of there. You are their bodyguard. Do not let some random kid run up and grab them. And look, I know you want to carry them in your purse everywhere. Don't. Put them on the ground. Let them walk on their own 4 feet. It's how they build actual confidence. The window for this closes fast, mostly between 3 and 14 weeks. Just make sure they have their shots before they're walking around public spaces. You're going to lose sleep. Let's just accept that right now. But you can control how much you lose. Cut off their water about an hour and 45 minutes before bed. If bedtime is 10, the bowl disappears at 8:15. Their bladder is microscopic. Don't set them up to fail. The last hour before sleep should be boring. No tug of war, no fetch. Just quiet time so their heart rate comes down. Last thing you do is a trip to the potty spot. Put their crate right next to your bed. Throw a blanket over it so it feels like a den. An 8-week-old Chihuahua cannot physically hold their pee for 8 hours. The muscles literally don't exist yet. So don't wait for them to wake up crying and panicking. Set your alarm. If you go to bed at 11, set it for 2:45 in the morning. Wake up, keep the lights off, don't talk to them. Carry them outside so they don't pee on the rug on the way to the door. Let them go, whisper "good dog," and put them right back in the crate. You control the schedule. It sucks for a couple of weeks, but it's how you buy yourself 10 years of sleeping through the night. Get your house ready before the dog actually gets there. Get small stainless steel bowls. They don't hold bacteria like plastic does. Get a crate, maybe one of those little stuffed dogs with the fake heartbeat. It actually helps a lot the first few nights. You need a harness. Never walk a Chihuahua by the neck. Their windpipes are incredibly fragile, and collars can literally collapse their trachea. Get a lightweight leash. Get an ID tag. Buy chew toys so they don't eat your baseboards. And if it's winter, buy a sweater. I'm serious, they freeze. If they're shivering, they aren't going to pee outside. Puppy-proof everything. Hide the cords, move the toxic plants.
Buy a gallon of enzyme cleaner. Normal spray does nothing. The dog can still smell the uric acid and they'll just keep peeing there. Set up a playpen. If you can't watch them, they go in the pen. Set the rules day 1. Consistency. Everyone says it. Nobody actually does it. Training a Chihuahua is a daily grind. It's on you, not the dog. They're smart, yeah, but their bodies just take time to catch up. You are going to have setbacks. It's going to rain for 3 days, and they're going to refuse to go outside. Do not yell at them. If you rub a dog's nose and pee, you aren't teaching them not to pee in the house. You're teaching them to be terrified of you. Next time, they'll just pee behind the sofa where you can't see them. Clean it up, shut your mouth, and watch them closer next time. Everyone in the house has to follow the exact same rules. It takes months. Sometimes it feels like you're getting nowhere. Write it down if you have to. Track the accidents. You'll actually see them going down. Trust the process. Dogs do not want to sleep in their own waste. It's a hardwired survival instinct. A crate acts as their den. If it's the right size, they will do everything in their power to hold it until you let them out. That is literally how you teach bladder control. The crate is your best friend when you can't watch them. Nighttime, running to the grocery store, taking a shower, it prevents the accident from happening in the first place.
But the crate has to be small. If they can pee in the back corner and sleep in the front corner, it's too big. Buy an adult crate with a divider panel and expand it as they grow. And listen to me, do not ever use the crate as a punishment. It's their bedroom. You don't lock them in there angry, and you definitely don't leave them in there for 9 hours while you go to work. That's just cruel. Hire a dog walker. Get a neighbor. If you're expecting a perfectly potty-trained Chihuahua in a month, you are going to be miserable. Plan for 4 to 6 months of active daily work. And getting to the point where you completely trust them to roam the house, that's closer to 8 months, sometimes a year. Every dog is different. Some care about the rain, some don't. But mostly, their bladders just need time to physically mature. Stop comparing your Chihuahua to your neighbor's Labrador. It's entirely different plumbing. Your consistency dictates the speed. If you slack off on the weekends, you add a month to the timeline. So yeah, you'll see big progress early on, but true, reliable, I don't even think about it anymore potty training, it's a marathon. Settle in.